If you think that announcing a new game on the Game Award is a good thing, guess again. And hello there, how's today? Ame Gakita there. So obviously today we are going to talk about a game company by the name Naughty Dog, amazing name in a way, that actually decided to announce a game for PlayStation called the Intergalactic. So it is apparently a game that is in like some sort of like interspace along the line, some sort of action shooting whatever game, and that it kind of like would be a good thing if they just only showcase the game trailer gameplay. The only issue is that during the gameplay or the game trailer, it actually showcased quite a few things that got a lot of people wondering, like, is it really a good thing? Because it kind of like seems to involve DEI or whatever you want to call it along the line. Now, before we go and start talking about like, is the game like involved that kind of situation, let's talk about a few things before we talk about, is the game having that like some sort of DEI, or was it consulted by some company along the line? But the thing is, right, they start with something like a trailer indicating like animation along the line, and the game was apparently like inspired from some anime like Cowboy and even like Akira. And obviously Akira itself, I mean, like if anyone talk about like Ghost in the Shell or any other anime or some of the old animation, I do have a bit of like understanding because the animation they showcase seems to highlight that they are going with that feel. Now, the only issue is that it's really kind of like you have to ask the question like, who exactly is the target audience? Is it that you're trying to indicate that you're catering to anime lover, people who love old anime, and that this game seems to indicate that? Or is it that you're trying to indicate with a main character who seems to be having some sort of like whatever, like they say that it's a muscular black bow, amazingly, lady who is onto the path of something like doing some action. And I'm not saying like there is no bow lady in games, there is really like one like that I can't recall. But the thing is, right, it's kind of like not saying like if people want to have a bow or black or whatever character, I mean, like in a way we can't really like judge it based on that. If the story indicate for the character is good, I think that's fine. Now the issue on that end is that why a lot of people are making noise on the internet is that it's actually kind of like towards the point of that they are having like the person who is doing the voiceover for this character who is also similarly woke apparently, and that at the same time when you kind of like catering this kind of thing like the indication of trans or binary along the line, yeah, obviously it kind of like getting a lot of people to be very sensitive about it. So obviously in the most simple question is like, who is your target audience? Is it the gamers, or is it the people who love some majestic anime, or are you catering to the so-called the minority group? And they kind of like indicating they are trying to cater to many people, but it doesn't mean that everyone will love such a game, considering this is what they would deem a next AAA game. And that if you kind of like go with a lot of like the history of game in recent year, obviously anything that's just a AAA game, they got a lot of budget in it, they got a lot of money pumped into it, they got a lot of people making it to look nice. Obviously you have to like have like higher standard, people will hold you in higher standard, people will also kind of like see like would they want to buy the game or not. Now if you're trying to cater to like anime or people who is woke, as well as people who is like into nice stuff along the line, in the end you just kind of like trying to catch as many rabbit as possible but end up catching none. And it's really one of the moment that is in the galaxy is not the game company Naughty Dog trying to do what they shouldn't have done, is basically trying to cater to many people and not catering to none. Because if they are trying to indicate that they are going with one route, obviously it is going to end up badly because there will be another people attacking them. But at the same time, you still have to like do a proper marketing research, which I don't see many Western game companies have been doing properly on that end. Like if the minority people that you are targeting is really people who is going to talk about it, then I think it's fair that you have to like take in the criticism about whether people like it or not. And on the other hand, it's like the moment they kind of like put the trailer out and they stop like they didn't like the dislike ratio. I mean, like even for me, when I kind of like got a lot of people dislike my video, I don't really like highlight that. I just highlight that there's a lot of people who disagree with me, even though my point was always tend to be right. And I can't just say that haha right in your face along the line. Like often more than not, you have to stand by your word, you have to stand by your meaning. Like if Naughty Dog kind of like they double down on it, saying like they are catering to work, then I think it's fair to in the point is that they have to highlight that their target audience is not the gamers. They are trying to cater to the work gamers or people who is into that kind of thing. So if they highlight that, right, I think it's fair even for me to even come and say that if they're catering to that group of people, then those who don't like the game should really like don't buy the game. Because at the end of the day, if the game company come out and say that why do you guys not buy my game, yeah, then that is when we will have to bash them. But the moment at this point of time, they are not saying like who are they catering to. So the like Pirate Nation, when he kind of like say one thing, obviously a lot of people is questioning like, are they catering to gamers? Are you catering to people who love anime? Or is it that they are catering to the so-called minority people? So I mean, like in terms of like going with games itself, I've been saying this a lot of time. Give it a wait and see approach. If this is not your cup of tea, sooner or later a lot of people is just going to just take me as a game that is not worth buying, and people won't even buy it. I mean, like look at Concourse, look at Star Wars Outlaw, all these things. It's that if the game is really catered to the gamers, the minority, then I think it's fair for the majority people to not even talk about it. Don't bash the company, don't even buy the game if it's not your cup of tea or coffee or drink, whatever you love. Now obviously it is kind of like I mentioned earlier, that does it involve like DEI and what's not? Probably, but like I mentioned, the main important thing we have to go is a wait and see approach. Because the thing is, right, when they have a muscular, a black, as well as the girl decide to just become both for apparent no reason, I mean, like I can't really like judge a person to just because they want to be bold. Is because the thing is, right, if like in Japan, I've seen quite a lot of lady who turn bold not because of a center. It's actually some of the time when I seen some of the idol who got caught for in some sort of scandal or some sort of like apologize for things they did, then they will just shave their head and just apologize to the whole Japanese community or whatever you want to call it. And that is only the time when I see a lady is being bold in Japan. Now, does that mean that in other country part of the world that women going bold is not a good thing? Well, another thing is kind of interesting that I do see some field lady who actually decide to go bold, mainly because of cancer, illness or whatever you want to call it, and that is only the second reason I've seen it. But if people can't like take it that female being going bold is so-called their new trend, it's not really my right to go up and just say that it's wrong, because it's like they will just kind of like fight back and say that it's their freedom of expression, it's their new fashion trend, whatever you want to call it along the line. And it's really kind of at the moment that I can't really put too much stake into a person's hairstyle. Now, that being said, I can't really stand by like, is it really like having the voice actor having some sort of say in it? Because in a way, right, it is also kind of like being exposed that the person who voiced the character is also apparently to be someone who love to say transgender, binary, or LGBT, or whatever thing it is. People must see that it is a thing, it is a thing that is that is happening. And I mean, like, sure, in recent years it kind of like exploded with, not saying like it's a lot, but at least there is quite a lot of people talking about them being LGBTQ. There is men go out of nowhere decided to just become a woman, or woman decided to just be with girls along the line. But that, even so, you can't really like just say that you should push your ideology and say that you're gonna force it upon children or upon other people. It's the same thing as that when they don't like people forcing their Bible or their religious or whatever thing into them, you have to understand that you can't do the same thing to others. And now they are trying to say that, hey, we want it to be a thing. We want people to embrace it. When you can't even embrace the other opposition ideology, then you don't have the right to say that you're embracing it. Which is the reason why every time when I do this kind of like call out, it's really like I always call out not just one side, it's the other side. It's like the double standard, the line is that both sides always end up fighting and having the same issue. And like, it's not saying like I'm trying to call like, hey, so I embrace it or not. I'm not against, like, if people want to embrace LGBTQ, who am I to go out and stop people from doing it? The moment is that if I force my mind into others, that's wrong on my side, which is the reason why I always tell people that I'm not going to stop people from doing what they want if that is what they want. All I can do is just suggest what they can do, what they can improve on, what they can be better off, and not going around and just say that you must follow your ideology, methodology, or whatever propaganda into other people's mind. The moment you force that, now people are going to fight back. Because if you can fight back against other people, you gotta obviously think that it can come back the other way around. Everyone is like a mirror to each other, where they can't like do the same thing to each other thinking that they are on the right, when in the first place they are just fighting all against themselves. Nothing, like I always tend to say, when you say something about others, you always talk about yourself. Now, that being said, I'm not saying like the game is gonna turn out good or bad. If the game target audience is meant for so-called the LGBT community or the woke culture or the people who is woke gamers, if they like this kind of game, by all means, go ahead. Make sure that at least the game company highlight that it is meant for them. So if they come out and say that, oh, the game is also having like anime, that we are having the game inspired for anime and we want anime lover to like this game. If there is a group of people into this kind of thing, I don't think it's fair for anyone to go and bash on the game. I mean, like, sure, Hiro-san actually did a very good call, like, for us who love anime a lot, obviously we hold it in higher standard, because they are trying to cater, like making use of a mainstream thing and put it into their game and highlight that, hey, we got this in our game ourselves. I mean, like, not saying like having game or anime in each other is a bad thing. It's just that how you're gonna portray it. So obviously if they're going to portray that they're using anime as inspiration or reference, I mean, like, it's kind of like people is going to hold it in some form of standard. It's going either they like it or not, whether they like it or not, or anyone like it or not. So if they kind of highlight that they're trying to highlight that they're adding anime in, like, or taking inspiration from anime into the game, I think it's fair, because it's kind of like not, it's like a lot of games, a lot of anime also have reference from like some from games, like anime have reference from games, some game have anime reference along the line. It's fair point. Now, the only issue is that in a way, when you're trying to portray like you're using anime, there is a line that has to be drawn. Are you going to like indicate that the whole game is all about anime, having a lot of anime reference? Because it's like in recent time when I've been playing Nikkei, I sometimes call out like some of the part that has anime reference. When I play Genshin, there's anime reference. When I call out even like Honkai Star Rail or something that is anime reference or game reference or other game reference, it is common thing to call them out. But it's really kind of like those small little quests or side quests or Easter egg that is fine. If the game is going to be like entirely focused based on from inspiration from anime itself, that is when it's kind of like you have to wondering like, what is it the game about? Is it all anime based, or is it anime? Is it a game that is basically the game by the creator? Because if the game is creating based on just anime, then it kind of like showcase that they don't have the originality, the creativity to create a game properly. So it's really hard to like say that the game is good or not. Only time will tell, and hopefully they don't go and make it bad. I mean, like, considering that a lot of people bashing on it because of DEI whatsoever, I mean, like, when you kind of have the character itself highlighting this kind of thing, obviously people are going to be mad. But then again, I'm not saying like there are not people disagreeing or agree with this point. There are some people who like this game. I mean, I say a lot. If you like the game, get the game. Be hyped for the game. Don't out of nowhere kind of like bash and say the game is bad. If people don't like the game, let them talk. It's just that only time will tell is the game gonna be good. If the game is gonna turn out just be another like Concourse or Star Wars Outlaw, then it's by then we'll call out the game is bad. But at this point of time, it's kind of like too early to say, and yet already people talking about it. I'm not saying like I should be talking about it. It's just that sometimes even I have to say that not just one side being right is always that one side is always right. It's like sometimes when one side is wrong, the other side can also be wrong. I'm just calling both sides out. Now, for the issue on hand, like if they really want to add in their agenda, ideology, or politics into the game, that's on them. Whether people like it or not, if people don't like it, the game company have to understand that their game is really not targeting for them. And at the end of the day, if they are aiming for the minority group, then they are going to make a lot of loss. Because at the end of the day, just understanding who is your actual audience, who are you trying to sell the game to, are you selling to the minority group or non-existent group, or are you trying to cater to the huge majority group? If you're aiming for a small group, then that's on you if you say that your game is not making money. But if you want to make more money, you have to cater to the larger audience. You have to understand what they truly want, and you have to do proper research. But I've seen a lot of game companies not doing proper research, not doing proper marketing understanding or survey or whatsoever, and just go with the idea that just say that hey, some game company consultation saying that, oh, you must have black, you must have this, you must have that, and oh no, where the thing just come out and turn out to be a flop at the end of the day, and who is to blame? The consultation, that they will just take the money and just leave you onto the dust. And the only way the game company is going to have a future is basically throw into the dust. They're going to be declaring bankruptcy. And I will kind of like talk about this in my previous video called Game Company Sinking and Gamers Infight. If you do want to know more from my point of view, it's kind of like more in-depth but also kind of like simplified, do check that video out. But do also check out Red Sun and Hill Sun video on their point of view about this whole thing. To me, I think that game is fair to give it a wait and see approach. If by time they do highlight like this kind of thing that is catering for work culture or DI, then if you don't like the game, it's fair for you to don't buy the game. But at the same time, if people who love the game or is into this kind of thing, I think it's fair for them to actually give the game a chance. I'm not saying like anyone who love the game or hate the game. I mean, like as for right now, if they are catering to that audience, then I think it's fair to say that let them be. If they're going to flop, that's on them. Now, at the end of the day, it is still my speculative thought. It's just a random chat. Whether you agree or disagree, you can write in the comment section below. We can discuss it further. If not, and if you do like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat. While sometimes talk about stuff that sometimes makes sense, doesn't make sense, or random at time. But the one thing I hope is not random for you guys is have a nice day or night. Bye.